So once again, this is mid-card Mana. We got here Sam Killer, the wrestling connoisseur.
Yay.
We got here the loose cannon. This is going to be our This Week in WWE. So of course, this is after the War Games Survivor Series weekend.
Yeah.
So Monday Night Raw. We're gonna go quickly through what happened on Monday Night Raw. So first thing that happens is showdown between Triple H, Kurt Angle, and
Strowman.
And
Jason Jordan.
And Steph
Steph.
first. And then Jason Jordan comes out and is like, "Give me a piece of Triple H." And Steph's like, "You're out of your mind."
Yeah.
Which he is.
And then Braun comes out.
I love Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan is base, so I call him Jason Jordan. And then she basically is like, "Oh, you know, my husband will absolutely destroy you. He's not afraid of you. He's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid of anyone in the locker room." Then
comes out, gets right in Triple H's face, and Triple H steps back.
Backtracks real fast.
Backed out of the ring. Basically that segment quickly turns into, oh, you want to fight somebody tonight, Jason Jordan? You can fight Braun Strowman.
Yeah, so that's gonna work out real well for him. So the next match that happened, or the first match that happened, was Joe versus Balor. With Joe locking in the coquina.
Getting the win.
And Balor passing out. So I was really glad that he passed out and didn't tap out.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was watching him like, "Don't tap, don't you tap, don't you tap."
I thought he was going to hit the Muscle Buster there at one point, but he just pulled him off. And
I don't think they'll ever hit the Muscle Buster again.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it
weird.
since he, like, very early in his debut, but I think they pulled it because the whole Tyson Kidd thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some people that seem like they're really set against it, but it's like one of the safest moves really to do. But
It's a freak accident. Not to be confused with Lars Sullivan's finisher called the Freak Accident, which is the deadlift side slam.
So yeah, what was the next match?
The next match was Asuka versus Dana Brooke.
We know how that ended.
Yeah,
Next.
I mean, if anyone thought that Dana Brooke was going to win, you need to fix your life. Of course.
She was not ready for the Empress of Tomorrow.
Oh, no. She most certainly was not ready for Asuka. And of course, you know, Asuka kicked the crap out of her. Pinned.
Submitted, actually, wasn't it?
No, she pinned.
Did she pin her? I thought
Yeah.
she submitted her. Maybe that was Survivor Series. I think one cool thing that was on Raw was the Good Brothers doing the commercial for Ugly Sweaters and
That was great.
Black Friday.
I loved that.
It was actually
I'm
pretty
sad he didn't get a hashtag beat up John Cena, but I mean, it's late.
true. That'd be a good shirt, though. Ugly beat up John Cena shirt, Christmas sweater.
It'd be good.
The next match.
So it was Dirty Dean versus Sheamus, I believe. Which trying to read who won. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I think Ambrose won.
Yes. He landed the Dirty Deeds, I see. So Alexa Bliss after that talks about, you know, yeah, I know I lost, but
Mickey comes out.
all
Bayley
y'all are
comes
still
out,
scrubs anyway. So Mickey comes out.
Sasha comes out.
Bayley comes out. Sasha comes out. And Alicia Fox comes out.
They all sit there and argue for a little bit. And then music hits.
And Kurt Angle comes out. And just like, all of you are going to be in a fatal 4-way to determine the number one contender tonight, right now. So then they have the match. And then in the middle of the match, you hear some familiar music.
And it is Paige.
I'm wearing my Paige shirt for the first time in a long time. Paige returns.
She looked like she was a little bit less white.
Partially
used to be.
blows the roof off of the place.
Yeah.
Not as much of a pop as I think she would have gotten at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But I mean, a decent pop.
It was a decent pop, but then it got really awkward, I think. It was just a really weird angle. She says she's not alone. She comes down to the ring, and then
she starts to come back down to the ring, and then from the other side, Sonya Deville, I think her real name is Daria Berenato, and Mandy Rose, who was one of the finalists from Tough Enough, the last one, join her.
Yeah.
in the ring and basically beat up everyone. So Mandy Rose hit Mickie James. Sonya Deville hit Sasha.
I think so.
And Bayley was attacked by Paige.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, well, we're going to do a Paige.
And Alicia Fox like ran away.
Paige versus these two NXT girls, kind of a stable of some sort.
Seems to be that way.
I'm like, okay, well, expanding the women's division, which needs it badly. It was just odd. It was a little awkward. I think it would have worked better if they'd done it at Survivor Series than Raw. And
have that be what costs Raw the women's match.
Yeah, or either or, whichever which way they wanted to go.
So afterwards, after they make that statement in the ring, they see Alexa Bliss backstage, and Alexa's just like, "Hey!"
And I feel like we're going to get
back.
a face turn from Alexa Bliss out of this. That's where it'll eventually go.
And then they beat the crap out of her. So the next thing that happens afterwards is Jason Jordan versus Braun Strowman. Now, before this, Jason Jordan goes up to Kurt Angle and is like, "You can't have me compete. I'm still hurt." And Kurt's just like, "What? You said you were fine. Now you're saying you're hurt? What's going on?"
You know, they really keep building this up right. They know the fans are hating on Jason Jordan. They keep building this up right. When Jordan turns heel, it'll be really
It'll
good.
work.
He'll be probably like one of the best heels probably since Miz. If they play their cards right with this, because he's getting that really cowardly.
Especially when he punked out on the match, and I mean, of course, he was already out of the ring, and then Kane came in, and led to Strowman getting the win via DQ.
We can't skip that big slap he hit Strowman with at the beginning of the match. He slapped the shit out of Strowman, and then he was like, "I'm so sorry."
I think that the really funny thing was when he's talking to Angle, he first was like, you know, "How can you have me fight? I'm still hurt." And he's like, "No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll fight. I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm gonna beat him. I'm beat him tonight." He like talks himself up, which I thought was kind of adorable, honestly.
If we think back to Angle's, you know, early in his career, I thought
it was a nice nod. Then they have Charlie Cruz or someone. I keep wanting to say it was Charlie. I'm not sure who it was. But when the backstage interviewers sees Braun, it's like, "Oh, you know, how do you feel about these comments about Jason Jordan saying he's not afraid of you?" "Good. That makes him different from everyone else, especially Triple H." I was like, "This is the greatest."
So,
it was so good.
Kane, of course, does interfere in the match. What happened after that? I can't even remember.
He just blacked out. So after that, it was the Cruiserweights. So it was the Zoe train, as it were. So that is Drew Gulak, Ari Daivari, Tony Nese, and Noam Dar, and of course Enzo. When Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, Akira Tozawa, and Rich Swann come out to sort of match up. And so that was sort of the tag team match that happened there, in which Cedric Alexander was able to get in the lumbar check, and Mustafa Ali hit the 054, the reverse 450, on Noam Dar to win. So, of course, the faces won that time. But, of course, 205 is a little bit different, so we'll talk about 205 a little bit later. Elias comes out again.
Who wants to walk with Elias?
No, nobody. I don't.
I'll walk with Elias.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
So he basically comes out and starts talking about how
I see money.
Matt Hardy lost and just, you know, is a scrub.
Delete.
And Matt Hardy comes out and just beats him up.
I cannot wait to see him go into the broken gimmick.
I know.
It's gonna look so great. I hope we see it happen like right in front of our eyes.
Like every week we see a little bit more of it.
One match.
One more.
Like one match. He's just in
it.
And like he looks like he does now, and then like he's out of the ring and they're like beating the crap out of him. And then he raises up, and it's just
He's
like
just
the
like,
wild hair. Like,
wonderful.
oh!
That would be great.
It would be so awesome.
I would
crowd would
I would
go
be sold on
nuts.
it. Yeah.
The crowd would go so nuts.
I love it.
Just him going crazy mid-match and wins. It'd be great.
Book it. So the next match after that was the main event.
You know what should happen against Kane? So we got this heel Kane run going. And since there's such a big past between him and Kane, have that old storyline flare right back up. No one remembers it, but they can always like.
I remember it.
We should get a Snitsky. Should pop in just for that match alone.
Just have Kane start getting uncomfortably close to Reby Sky.
I think Snitsky should just come in with a child that's like right at that age that it should have been, and Matt being like, "Who's this?" and it looking like Lita.
I can play younger. I'm an actor.
Yeah, I could sell Vince on that storyline right there. He'd be all for that. It's so creepy
He
and crazy.
would.
He would be for that.
He would 100% be for it. Book it. Write it. I'll act it. So, of course, the main event is Reigns versus Miz. That's another thing we forgot to mention. Miz had Reigns on Miz TV earlier in the show. They ended up having a showdown.
And Miz, you know, doing such great work trying to turn the crowd against him.
Tried.
I mean, you know, he can work a crowd.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying it's funny because the crowd is usually so averse to Roman Reigns that even with that, there's just...
So, yeah, they end up setting up a match, Reigns versus Miz, for the Intercontinental title.
And the setup itself was kind of wonky.
It was.
What do you call it? Dirty Dean and Rollins were talking about how they're going to get back the championship belts. You know, they're going to be the tag team champs again one day.
Whoa.
And it's like, and then Reigns is
Where's
like,
my
what about
belt?
me?
What about you? That's what Ambrose should have turned and said. What about you, bitch? And then just smacked Roman. And then, like, Rollins being like, yeah, I kind of agree with Dean. What about you? Where have you been? Dude, we had to make Angle and Triple H members of S.H.I.E.L.D. Where have you been? I was about to call up Ryback. That's how bad it was. And Ryback be on his podcast. They were going to call me. I said no.
They didn't feed me more.
Yeah, Vince didn't want to give me any more money, and food, mood. I told him no.
Turned down.
They didn't want to make catering for everybody.
Oh, that would have been a gift. But basically, it was sort of like a, yeah, what about me?
But the crowd was really...
And then Rollins was like, no, we don't mean to leave you out, buddy.
The crowd, though, was like, I don't want to say they were into it, but they were really part of it.
Yeah.
And
it was just so cavalier how he was like, well, what are you doing tonight, Miz? You're not doing anything. You want to fight for the belt? Just so I can have one too? And it's just like, come on.
Miz is like, no.
And I mean, it was just like how
of course,
how little he had regard for it. It was just like, because there was no belt for him, he was like, I'm just going to take yours.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And it actually kind of degrades the Intercontinental title at the same time.
And I've gone on record saying how much I like the Miz as Intercontinental Champion because
Ambrose.
Because I mean, and the Miz especially because he treats that belt like it's the most important belt he's ever
in the show
won. Yeah,
he treats it like it's the best belt on the show, which it arguably is. And Ambrose did too. He come out and said it like, hey, this is the title that means everything because this is the title that's defended.
Yeah.
Which is a shot at Brock because he doesn't defend his title every 60 days or so. So, yeah, there's that. The reason behind all this is that Miz is getting ready to leave to go film another Marine movie.
Marine 6.
I don't know if the whole Mr. Raj is going to be in it again with Dallas and Axel or...
Becky Lynch is in it.
Yay. Obviously. I guess. I'm assuming they are going to be in it as well. I don't know. I would not be against seeing Axel versus Reigns or Dallas versus Reigns for a program while Miz is gone. I don't know if they'll do it or not. I don't see why not do it with Axel because he is great in the ring.
Over.
He's
also.
he's super over with the crowd. So they could always do that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Elias versus Reigns.
I mean,
I don't think that would definitely be bad.
Reigns did say that he was open. He was doing the Intercontinental Open Challenge.
Oh, you know what could...
Because he wants to prove that he's a fighting champion.
Okay, if it was me, I would book the first 2 defenses against Axel and Dallas. And then from there, God, I don't know. Because, I mean, he's not... I can't believe I'll ever going to say this. Oh. He's not John Cena. And that sounds so weird to say. But when Cena did it, he brought people up. He got people over.
And he got the belt over.
Sammy, Neville, Kevin Owens. I mean, he got these guys over really for their initial runs. So,
although Sammy got injured in that.
Yeah, well, but I don't know.
And he actually Reigns dropped the belt to a re-debuting Alberto Del Rio when Alberto Del Rio made his return.
So can Reigns? Yeah, can Reigns actually get people over doing this open challenge?
I would hope that they take this opportunity to allow it. Because I don't think it would hurt him.
It wouldn't hurt him because, I mean, obviously he's going to hit spear or whatever and win. I think if they fine-tune his in-ring stuff a little bit more, less Superman punches, and...
I mean, I think this would be a good opportunity, especially with some of the NXT guys that have a little bit more of the veteran NXT experience. Have them go up for a night, have him hang with them so he gets used to working with all these different kinds of styles so he can develop good offense for all of them and know how to work with them.
He's not like super green like he used to be.
Oh, definitely not. So I think he has the potential to know how to be able to adapt to certain things to accommodate other people's styles. So I'm hoping that this would help him practice that a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, that's optimistic perhaps of me.
Yeah. I just... I don't know what they'll do. I mean, I'm not even sure who else is on Raw that they'll be throwing at him for an open challenge. I mean, if they're going to do it, I would like to see them actually use guys and bring guys in and help get Reigns over with this. Not necessarily just as a way to book Reigns to win every week, but to actually get over with the crowd and in the ring a little bit more to say, oh, okay, that was a really good match that had featured Roman Reigns. I don't want to see it as the main event every week. It should open the show. Have your opening segment and then
at the very least be at the top of the 9 o'clock hour.
I won't even say that because right now they're booking the top of the 9 as the main event. It's really backwards now, but right now that's their most watched segment. So they were using that as their main event.
I feel like they would still book that.
That's why you see them actually closing with the 205 and the women's and stuff like that because they don't view that as the main event anymore. Which is odd. It's really weird, but I would actually open with it. I'd have Reigns open every show for a while because I mean Braun Triple H, you could close with that and it would be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, have it open with the open challenge. We'll see where it goes.
Hopefully it'll be something that actually.
So that was the last match on Raw, right?
Yeah. So then SmackDown opens with
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money. With Shane McMahon confronting KO and Sami Zayn after they.
And he's been wanting to say this, and it's gonna feel so good. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, your. Dun, 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 dun. Daniel Bryan comes out and saves the day.
Saving the
Not
day.
gonna fire them, but everybody does hate them and wants a piece of them. So
they're gonna go against the New Day in a lumberjack match.
Which was really confusing because they said the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they played it up as going to be a 2-on-3 handicap match, lumberjack match, which did not end up happening.
No, it was Kofi and Biggie, and then Xavier Woods was the lead lumberjack.
Yeah, which I hated.
Yeah.
Why not make it? Why not make it a handicap match? It would have made sense. Everything was booked that way to be against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Because the people in charge are still faces, so they can't book that sort of thing.
You can.
I guess. I mean, I think that was the mentality where it's like, we can't have them overcoming odds. We have to make it even because...
Even though they're overcoming odds.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that was the idea behind the poor booking. The first match of the night.
First match of the night was Shelton Benjamin versus Jey Uso. Yes. So the Usos the week before or the last week's SmackDown took a count-out loss.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to what's his face? Yeah.
I think it was Jimmy who, yeah.
Didn't Gable end up causing it because he attacked him from the outside?
Oh yeah. But I mean, like.
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah.
And so they tried that again this week, but it got caught. Gable tried to cheat, but didn't.
Gable's showing a little bit more of the heel. Of course, American Beta's gonna end up being the heels.
Thankfully, I'm glad that they'll be going heel. It'll help them, I think, in the long run.
And I mean, I think it'll definitely, with them being the heels to the Usos as faces, I think that will help elevate them a little bit more.
Of course, Shelton ends up getting the win.
Yes, over Jey Uso.
They're working on building that up.
So the next match was the debut of
the
Harper Rowan.
Bludgeon Brothers.
Harper Bludgeon and Rowan Bludgeon, I think, are their names now. Because if you look on WWE, it's not Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. It's Harper Rowan, the Bludgeon Brothers.
Which is funny because they actually we know these guys passed and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they lampshaded it.
I do wish that they would
referenced it.
Get rid of the sheet mask in this aspect.
Yeah, if you're gonna try and play it that it's a different thing, make it totally different.
Just get rid of
instead of having that callback that's so Wyatt. Yeah. And it's so closely tied to the Wyatts.
We don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you have them shave in this aspect? Or have Harper shave his head to match Rowan? I mean, I just feel like they still look so Wyatt that it almost doesn't work. I know they have a complete different look now, so to speak.
And ring gear.
They have different ring gear.
And awesome entrance music.
Yeah, they finally got good entrance music.
I gotta say.
I'm sorry, entrance music is such an integral part. For them to not have had this music for their whole run as the Wyatts is a real shame. Especially Harper.
I did like Harper's entrance music, honestly.
Yeah, but it
was sort of like
face. He
deranged.
He didn't have a good face entrance music.
Oh yeah, because it was the same entrance music as the.
It hindered him like he was Jinder Mahal.
Ooh, too soon.
Too soon.
It's the next thing that happens after this. Actually,
we'll see where this goes. I did note that their finish conspicuously looked a lot like the Bar's finish. And I was okay until that, and I was kind of like, well, isn't this the same finish that the Bar uses?
Yeah, why?
I mean, I've seen them do this move before, but
because now there's another, now that the tag team on Raw.
Honestly, this would have been the point for them that you start using the Dudley Death Drop, because they used to do that every now and then. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
What's going on in SmackDown?
I'm sure it'll come down at some point. Somebody will start bitching about it, and it'll get changed.
Of course, the
crowd responded.
The Hype Bros. So it was the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Hype Brothers,
who recently turned heel. So that made no sense at all.
So and it was Mojo that got destroyed,
which is well deserved. God, I can't help but I see Mojo and I think, they should have him join Ascension. Because he just looks like
because they're gonna get future endeavored soon anyway.
Yeah. But the Bludgeon Brothers did get like a pretty good response from the crowd, I felt.
Yeah.
Which is
surprisingly so, considering
they're heels.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
don't know how long it'll stay that way.
Surprisingly so, because so many people weren't behind the gimmick change.
But I do feel like Harper was over enough with the crowd, even though they never really used him well, that, you know, when Harper turned to the crowd, he's like, yeah, they responded.
Yeah.
And I think that there's still a connection there that, you know, maybe we will see them get behind them and WWE will pick up on it.
Well, I mean, Harper is such a huge fan favorite.
Yeah.
That it makes me so sad that they didn't pull the trigger on him. The many times they were presented with the opportunity,
and he's a big
to
man.
do so.
So you would think that they would have pulled the trigger on a big man. Although he did look like he was a little smaller. You know, this
recently, this past one, kind of.
I don't know if he slimmed down a little bit or just hasn't been hitting the weights or what. Versus Rowan, who looks a little bit chunkier.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rowan looked noticeably bigger.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do feel like I would have repackaged them a little bit better. I think they're going along with the idea that they don't want to completely repackage them, that fans won't recognize them.
The sounds of crushing bones.
That the fans won't recognize them, but just enough to say, hey, these really are a tag team now.
I mean, like they were before.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a work in progress.
Definitely.
Hopefully it'll... Yeah, I don't know.
So the next thing that happened after that was AJ Styles calling out Jinder Mahal, and Jinder Mahal equally calling out AJ Styles, going, "Clash your champions, clash your champions, AJ." If Jinder Mahal wins that title back, I'm buying a Jinder Mahal shirt. It's gonna be my punishment.
Gosh, you know, I like Jinder. I really do. I just wish...
I think definitely he's put in the work.
He has.
Honestly, and I do think that he's tried really hard to make this work.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect his work ethic, and I respect the fact that he didn't quit on this, like how they kind of quit on him.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad.
Here's the thing. If they go through with this, even if they restrap him, AJ is the guy to get him over. This is the feud that he's needed all along to get over.
The thing the thing of it is something that keeps getting brought up a lot whenever the conversation is about AJ Styles. AJ Styles could have a good match with anyone because he knows how to work a match. And I mean, Kurt Angle has gone on record saying that the best person he's ever worked with is AJ Styles because AJ Styles will go out there and do all the work.
Kevin Nash too.
And I mean,
you know, if anybody watches Table for Three, when there was
Styles
Shawn Michaels
could have
Kevin
a good
Nash.
match with me, and I'm nowhere near half the man of Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, or Braun Strowman.
I could carry AJ. I mean, literally, I could carry AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could too.
But like, that's what Nash said. Like, yeah, work with AJ. This kid could carry me anytime. And they had a really good match in a TNA.
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard to not have a good match with AJ Styles.
I believe Nash actually went on record as saying that other than Shawn, like, his favorite match was like with AJ.
Yeah. I mean, the comparisons to Shawn Michaels have been rolling in more and more lately.
Yeah.
Especially because AJ has reached a sort of level in the WWE.
I've never been a huge Shawn Michaels fan, but...
You've never liked, Shawn. You don't think he's cute?
Awful.
You don't know that he's sexy? Didn't you notice he's got the looks that drive the girls wild?
Oh, I knew he had the ones that drove Marty Jannetty through a window.
Marty Jannetty has also never been the same. That's a different video altogether.
Yeah, didn't you see the video where he has his ankle or something?
You see the video where he was like,
I think AJ
my daughter's not actually my daughter. Should I bang her?
I didn't see that. I think AJ will surpass Shawn, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, I think it's mostly because Styles has had the benefit of coming into the company or coming into professional wrestling at a much different time,
True.
where the opportunities are so much larger. And I mean, he's gotten to go to Japan and really, I think, become a much more well-rounded competitor there.
I think he's everybody talked about Sean having a great mind for the business, but I think AJ is a much, like you said, much more well-rounded competitor. I don't know if Sean would have been able to survive in today's wrestling society.
Well, I mean, the era,
like AJ.
Yeah, it was. Shawn Michaels is a product of his time.
Right.
I like Shawn Michaels. I think I greatly enjoy watching his character. I think his character has always been the favorite part for me.
Whereas obviously
over the
guys like
chin music or
Undertaker,
anything like that.
Undertaker's shown that he can survive in different societies as long as his body holds up.
I mean,
Kane has shown that he is relevant.
The gimmick is also so different that I think the imposing style of Kane and the Undertaker is timeless. Where the sort of pin-up poster boy of Shawn Michaels is something that aged out in the early 90s.
So you're saying if Shawn was wrestling today, that he would be part of Breezango?
I think that's closer to what he would be regarded as with that sort of gimmick today. Not to say that he doesn't have the.
I really want to see him as part of the Breezango fashion files.
Well, okay,
as
so,
like he's the they're like he's like their sergeant.
So Shawn Michaels.
That'd be great.
Had an ab off at TakeOver during like the pre-show or whatever, or like a web exclusive or something at NXT TakeOver. This last one, War Games.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I think of it? He had an ab off with Johnny Gargano, like where they just pulled up their shirts and showed each other their abs.
Does Shawn have abs still? Or?
Yeah.
Did he? I would figure he's like.
I was surprised. Well, I mean, he's also working with the Performance Center now, so he's training a lot more people. So he has to be a lot more active. And of course, Johnny Gargano won, so he got Johnny Gargano's abs over. Johnny Gargano, before he did it, he was like, "I'm sorry, I love you."
Oh my god! Just like
I cried.
Oh,
it was great.
It would have only gotten better if, like, when Shawn went to pull his up, Ric Flair had come out and low blowed him. Like, ooh, by default, Gargano wins.
I would have cried.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been amazing.
Okay, so next match.
So the next thing that happened actually was a backstage segment.
Okay.
Where Naomi's getting her makeup done, and then
hey,
and then she goes, Ruby Riot, and
I'm sorry, SmackDown Paige.
I love Ruby. I love Lovelace. I always liked Lovelace.
Too, but this was very.
It came off very much like that. So
I feel like
basically, what happens is.
Describe it to everybody that has not seen it yet.
Is Ruby Riot is introduced. She goes in, beats up Naomi.
I'll do the visual.
Naomi.
So this was Raw. Here's Paige. Oh, look. Here's SmackDown. Here's Ruby Riot.
Yeah.
And it's...
perfect, because it's also in red.
Right.
She was wearing red.
So it's...
well done. So basically what happened was Ruby Riot, and then also you see Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. So Liv Morgan, a.k.a. Gianna Daddio, Enzo Amore's ex-girlfriend, and Sarah Logan, Crazy Mary Dobson, back in the Indies, invade, beat up Naomi, and then Becky Lynch comes in to try and save the day, and then they beat the crap out of Becky Lynch.
So you have the really goth-looking leader.
Definitely the leader, because she is the one that is directing a lot of the traffic.
You have a blonde.
The pretty blonde.
And then you have a more muscular, dark-haired one.
Definitely.
And this is on both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. So then they come in, and they there's a rematch between Natalya and Charlotte for the
and both stables
SmackDown
attack all the other established women.
So then Ruby Riot, I was gonna say Mary Thompson, Ruby Riot, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan come out, interfere in the match. The match is a no contest. Or no, I think the match went to Charlotte because she was the one that got attacked first, I think.
It doesn't matter.
Basically, they cost both of them the match. And then Ruby Riott, a.k.a. Paige, Liv Morgan, a.k.a. Mandy Rose, and Sarah Logan, a.k.a. Sonya Deville, stand victorious in the middle of the ring.
So my problem with this is that I don't know if the memo
Is this
come
connected?
down,
Is this not connected?
and the memo was just a drawing of who is supposed to be in the group, and they're like, "Oh, the blonde, so let me take that one." And then I don't know how they decided this is going to happen on both shows.
I know it because they were so similar and because they happened back to back. It looked really like a copycat.
Plus the fact that
unless they're gonna play something like this is Paige's plan all along.
Yeah.
So she's leading Raw because that was where she was drafted first. So she couldn't technically touch SmackDown. So she sent another team in her place.
If this is their idea to get a women's show started, that'd be great. And that the Paige is a leader of both groups. But the visual appearance of it all, having Ruby Riott as the leader and having another blonde, the two groups just mirrored each other.
It was way too
much.
similar. Yeah.
The storylines mirror each other way too much.
And I mean, there's so much talent in NXT that you could have chosen in place of this. That I mean, even if you did want to have 2-3 women stables, you could have picked people that.
Why would you even want to do that
enough
on both shows, though? Like, if this was, like, aired on Raw and then aired on Impact, it would obviously be, like, you know...
They copied each other.
Yeah.
Or one copied the other.
Yeah. This is plagiarism.
Yeah.
And for it to be on both the WWE shows,
blatantly.
It still feels like it's plagiarized because it happened on Raw the first night and SmackDown the next night.
And it's unfortunate because Raw happened to be first.
Yeah.
That was the one that happened first. Whether it be someone in SmackDown thought of it first to bring up people, or
it just looked bad.
Yeah, it didn't. Unless they have a larger plan for this, it's gonna look really like.
So here's the thing: if it's a larger
paste.
plan, then they should have all been masked except for Paige. She come out. She said, "I brought people with me," and then all these masked women come out and just start kicking the shit out of everybody.
But
and then later they reveal
can't sell
it.
their faces.
Then later they can do it. Well, I'm sorry, but the women's division should not be about their faces anymore.
It still is, though. I mean, definitely to a much lesser extent.
But when you're eventually going to reveal them, that's fine. But then you could have, like, amped up this mystery, like, oh my God,
who could it be?
Who are these masked women with Paige? And then having masked women show up on SmackDown 2 would have furthered that mystery.
Like,
like,
is it the
whoa,
same?
this is like what happened on Raw.
Yeah.
What's going here? Is Raw invading again? Who is this? And how are they connected to Paige? But instead,
they connected to Paige?
They come off very campy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't just make the SmackDown look like the B show. It made WWE look like a B show. It was pretty bad. And
it didn't help the women that you brought up from NXT.
No, it helped nobody.
Didn't help Paige either.
Except Jimmy Jacobs, who's laughing hysterically. He probably shot chocolate milk out of his Princess Pretty nose.
Zombie Princess, I love him. I miss him.
So, what was next?
Glad I could see. So the next thing was the main event. So that was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Yeah, because we gotta
end this show really quick now.
Versus the New Day in a lumberjack match. So a couple of notable things. Mike Kanellis made it out with an excellent jacket with
his face never got on TV. I saw his jacket.
He got a Jimmy Hart jacket, and by Jimmy Hart I mean like it was like Jimmy Hart, except there was a giant picture of Maria Kanellis on the back, but hearts all over it.
They should be bringing in Jimmy Hart to be his manager now that Maria's gone.
Because it was the greatest love I've ever known. So I was glad he got the paycheck for showing up on TV. The Colognes also, Primo and Apico were there.
Yeah, I don't think they were ever introduced back. They just kind of showed up now, and they're supposed to be repackaged.
It's sort of like they were never gone. Remember all of them all the time? I think that's sort of how it's being regarded.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I heard they were going to get repackaged, so I don't know what's going to go on with that this time. They should both grow up afros and chew apples.
So,
And spit in people's faces that aren't cool.
Because they don't believe in being cool.
Just recycle that theme song.
Man, imagine the pop he would get if he came back.
Well, I mean, you saw the pop he got when he was just on what you would call it, Hall of Fame, a couple years ago.
When they inducted their dad.
I think the fans were chanting. He was like, "Oh, tell WWE."
Tell them don't drug test me because I'm still gonna smoke weed.
Bitch ass. So yeah.
A couple of things that did happen.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were looking for friends all night.
Found none.
Really didn't find any.
So this mortified me. Because I was like, who wrote this? They should get punched in the face. So when they're going to appeal to Rusev and Aiden English, they're talking. There's like, Thanksgiving's not important. Rusev Day's important. And then they're just being like, I understand you because I know you got thrown over just like how we got thrown over. John Cena got your spot on Survivor Series without even earning it. And he's like, and also, some people... I told them no, but some people think you're a terrorist. And I was just like, oh my God. I had to go back and watch that because I was like, Sammy just said someone thought Rusev was a terrorist.
I get that sometimes.
Dead. I was just like, I couldn't even articulate words. I was just like, who thought this was a good idea?
Right.
This is mortifying, especially because Sami Zayn is Syrian. I was like, whose idea of a joke is this? This is bad.
Vince's idea of a joke.
Bad.
This is from the same people who had Undertaker carried out of the ring after being mobbed by masked men. Okay, so, and their leader was an Italian, Iranian.
Oh
so I'm just gonna throw that out there.
No,
that's the idea.
No, it's true. But that absolutely mortified me and ruined the whole segment for me because I was like, who thought this is just bad taste?
So
just bad. Are you doing this to Sammy because you hate him? What's going on? So I couldn't find any friends.
Yeah, pretty much no friends. So even in the match whenever Kofi went out and they were all like, the Ascension was like, hey, no guys, we're cool with them. And Kofi just gets back in the ring. And then Sammy goes out and they mob him.
They mob him. But then Sammy also
like
calls them out on it. He's like, get him back in the ring.
Yeah, and then Sammy goes out like an idiot.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how the match kept
they goad
going.
him into coming out to follow Kofi.
And it was
and then they
really,
him.
Sammy really got a lot of heat going out of this match, I feel.
The Sami Zayn heel turn seems to be working. He
tried to run up the ramp, and they caught him and carried him back and tossed him into the ring. Great little spot.
Yeah. Another thing that was interesting, so Baron Corbin went to swing at Sammy, misses Sammy, hits Bobby Roode. Roode immediately goes after Baron Corbin. And then that's the start of a gigantic brawl with all of the Lumberjacks. So possible new feud. I feel like it's time to make that US strap glorious.
I mean, Roode's second
glorious.
feud. His second feud, and he'll be strapped to US title.
He should be.
Because he was already on the Survivor Series.
And I mean it's obvious that Baron Corbin, the US strap is not helping him. He's not helping the US strap.
Yeah. Roode could get way more mileage out of that than Corbin.
Definitely. And he could also make that belt glorious.
I feel like at this stage, Corbin needs to be thrown in a tag team and just repackaged a little bit.
Who will work with him, and who would he work with? Like, who would they work with? Sorry.
I mean, they talked about doing a shakeup and everything. Honestly, what I would do, here it is. I would put him over on Raw, and when Ambrose turns on Shield, I would put him as Ambrose bitch.
Because he couldn't
He
get the
could
title
get-
from Ambrose.
He could get, for him being Ambrose's hand, his henchman, he could get that heat that he's not able to get on his own, and maybe he can actually learn a little along the way to go because I mean Ambrose knows how to work a crowd, he knows what to do in the ring and everything.
Oh, definitely.
And I think Ambrose needs to learn that, and I think just visually they fit together too. Yeah, that's what I would do with him. I would put him in that Diesel position and just let him work like that for a while. Do tags, not really do singles that much, but have him do tags with Ambrose and be Ambrose's henchman and help cheat for Ambrose to win and stuff. That's what I would do.
Book it.
So the match goes on, and
Sammy gets the win via roll up.
yeah, after the big brawl, everybody gets out of the ring. Kofi, I believe it was Kofi that hit this vicious kick on Kevin Owens, and then Sammy comes in, slides up, rolls him up for the 3 count.
So Sammy and KO win.
They win the match. Owens is like, "Come on, Sammy, let's go!" And
So Owens escapes
Owens
with
is
the
trying to get Sammy out of the ring.
assist accidentally by Rusev and
By
Aiden
Rusev.
English.
Owens sees his opening, and he's
He
trying to
books.
get Sammy to come, and he sees his opening. He books. Sammy starts to go, and he gets caught.
Yeah. And dragged back into the ring.
And the
New Day destroys him.
Yeah.
So Sammy's laid out in the middle of the ring. Then you see Kevin Owens in backstage. He sees Daniel Bryan. He's like, "Daniel, please, you can't fire us. You can't fire." And
We
he
just won.
And he begs, gets down on his knees, and begs Daniel Bryan not to fire him. Earlier on in the night, Shane McMahon's just like, "I know you're gonna fire him afterwards, so you know what? I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna relax. Gonna go back to the hotel, kick up my feet,
Daniel
and enjoy
Bryan's
the
like,
show."
"I was never going to fire you to begin with. You
Yeah.
are valuable to the show." But next week,
you are going to be one-on-one in a match with Randy Orton. So KO and RKO.
yeah,
And then KO is just sort of like bristles at it at first, but then he's like, "Oh yeah,
he's like, "You can't do that." He's like, "I can't."
I can't."
And so you
And
kind of
he's
like,
like,
okay, all right, fine.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I mean, they're kind of teasing this aspect, and I think it's just a tease that, Kevin Owens will sell Sammy out whenever he gets a chance. I think it's still a tease that the fans, just for the fans to be like, "Oh, he's going to turn on him." I don't expect it'll happen for a long time if it ever happens.
Sammy's gonna turn on Kevin.
That may be.
That's what I
happens
want
eventually.
to happen. And I actually, it was like, Sammy has to turn on Kevin, bring up this exact incident. It's like, I won the
No.
match for the team. You've gone soft in thinking
No.
about your family.
No.
That's what I
Royal
want.
Rumble. Sammy tosses Kevin out. That's how they should do it.
I mean, the talk that comes with it, I want to specifically
Have 3 guys
reference
left.
this.
Have 3 guys left, and as Kevin tosses out the other guy,
Sammy
Sammy tosses
comes up.
out Kevin, and he's like, "What?" And then he turns on. They break up at that point. Have Sammy keep going heel and Kevin turn face.
Yeah. No, I would rather have Sami Zayn heel. Especially with how
It'll
they've
never
been,
happen, but that'd be
how
a
they've
great
been
way for it to
playing
happen.
him.
And then, of course, you could have Sammy lose the #1 contendership. However, to build up for a WrestleMania match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Book it. Because this is a match that both of them can do in their sleep and still be killer.
Yeah.
All right, so 205. We're going to go through 205 really fast. So 205 Live.
Sucks. That's it.
They have a Thanksgiving celebration. Drew Gulak is dressed up as the gobbledygulak, as it were.
Oh, no.
So each of the members of the Zo Train, so that is Noam Dar, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and Ari Daivari, have matches against the other 4 faces. And
Did we just watch that on Raw?
they have singles matches.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "Oh, for anyone who wins, maybe you'll get an early Christmas present in the form of a title shot."
Ooh.
Yeah. So Gulak goes against Tozawa. Tozawa wins. And it's a street fight.
Yeah.
So it's garbage can on Gulak's head, kendo stick, and then finally doing the senton to get the pin. So Gulak doesn't get the title shot.
Good to see that they're branching out a little bit on 205.
Yeah.
To get a more rounded appeal.
Tony Nese goes up against Mustafa Ali.
I like Nice.
So Tony Nese actually gets the win on Mustafa Ali after the running knee. So that's 1-1. One of the Zo Train getting the match. So the next one is a tag team match actually. So it's Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar and Arya Daivari. Swann and Alexander getting the win over Noam Dar and Arya Daivari, meaning that only one member of the Zo Train won the match to qualify.
They
Tony Nese.
need to be featured on Raw some as a tag team, in my opinion.
I mean, I would like a 205. I would like a cruiserweight.
Yes.
Tag team belt
would be great.
They also on this 205 announced that Hideo Itami Kenta is going to be coming up to 205.
I really wish we would.
I hope he doesn't get a future endeavors next year because of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see.
Maybe
it could be.
They need him there, to go against. They need people to either feed to a champion or be champion.
Yes.
And their current lot, I don't feel qualifies for much.
Unfortunately, no.
So maybe we'll see Hideo pushed against Enzo to take the title,
and then have him finally win.
Yeah, maybe finally get over. Yeah, because he's been unlucky in that.
He's been incredibly unlucky with injuries sidelining him.
Yeah,
and then as soon as he came back, and the shoulder injury he had was so serious it took him out for over a year.
Yeah. And then it was re-injured. When he came back, it was re-injured.
He was re-injured and he was out for a couple months, and then he got another injury from Riddick Moss. He
was an
injury.
early signee, and
he was the first in. He was the first in the wave.
Yeah.
So and
NXT
before him
passed by.
Yeah. What the NXT
Shinsuke,
champion that came and left.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn,
Finn Balor,
Samoa Joe.
Bobby Roode. Like so many people had come and gone in the time that he has been out that it's really unfortunate.
It's been hard for him to get any traction too, just after everybody else has been there.
Oh, because it was such a huge rush of talent afterwards. He was the catalyst. He was the big signee that really brought a lot more people.
Especially after Shinsuke got his big push and the response from the crowd, not saying that Hideo doesn't have charisma, but are they going to push another Japanese star as fast?
Probably not. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because he's incredibly talented, and as far as his charisma, I mean, it's different from Nakamura's, and Nakamura has a lot of face charisma.
Yeah.
Whereas Kenta's charisma
is
was
in
a
the
lot.
Ring. I mean, he's got a ring presence.
Yeah, and even at that, I mean, he comes off as a lot more of a badass rather than a star per se.
Because my guilty pleasure would
different.
be seeing Kenta and Shinsuke working together. So hopefully
the Asian
Shinsuke, invasion gets moved to Raw, and we'll see some tagging between the two. At some point when 205 is featured, who knows? I wanted to see them feud, actually. Something we never got from Japan was that. So that would be great if they could do that for us before they future endeavor Kenta.
Also, predicting right now that Tony Nese is going to turn on the Zo Train because Enzo's going to be like, hey, I only said you might get a chance. I didn't say it was a guarantee. That
would be a good idea, especially if they want to build up some face talent.
Especially because Tony Nese has such face entrance music.
Well, not just that.
But I mean, that's a point I would like to make.
He has all the abilities for it as well. Oh, cool.
And then quickly going through NXT. So NXT this week had 2 matches and then a sort of recap of War Games. So the first match on was Ruby Riott versus Sonya Deville.
Interesting.
Sort of like a double send-up match.
Yeah.
in which how they played it in NXT made it seem, because this took place, this is sort of like the pre-show for the main card of NXT TakeOver. But how they played it off in this episode made it seem like this was a match that was happening live on Wednesday.
Okay.
Because then they were just like, and these two women recently called up to the main roster, with Ruby on SmackDown and Sonya on Raw, and Ruby Riott ended up winning the match, and thus the mini feud that they had going on in NXT before they were hot-shotted up to the main roster. So an interesting send-off match for them, and then the main event of the, I guess, pre-show, I guess you could call it, was Pete Dunne's title defense of the United Kingdom Championship versus Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano, again, not being able to quite cinch it. Sort of giving him a lot of losses here, which is unfortunate. And I hope that it doesn't ruin his momentum
the question
going
here
forward
is
too much, because he's been on a sort of serious losing
sometimes they
streak.
do that and break a guy down to
rebuild him,
to push them, to really like get the fans behind them, like, you can do it.
I'm worried.
I don't know if it works quite like it used to anymore in that.
I'm really worried about the practice of that. Especially for Johnny Gargano, because it's also seemed like it's a placeholder. Because he was supposed to start the feud with Ciampa.
Well, here's the thing: is like it's not.
Ciampa was out on injury.
If it's not featured, like, it's not like it's starting every NXT show, or like you would start every Raw with this happening, and then you get to the point where the guy's like, "I got nothing to lose," and then
like
he
Kurt
starts
Hawkins.
his big, right? Then he starts his big comeback.
Maybe that's what they're doing with Kurt Hawkins.
And with Gargano, it's like sporadically he'll have a match and he loses, and he has a match and he loses, and he has a match and he loses. And so it's kind of awkward. It's like, let's do this thing with him. Let's do this with this kid.
And I feel
like
like
you're not committed to it.
What they're doing, though, is they're depending too much on the fact that he's a huge fan favorite, Johnny Wrestling. He'll get chance no matter what.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether he's on a losing streak, a winning streak,
so
heel, face, whatever. He's going to get chance.
I'm just afraid they're going to trick themselves, which sometimes WWE does. And then they go, well, what about this kid? He loses all the time. Yeah, future endeavoring. And it's like, but
he's like, but this is what you did it. It's because of you.
Yeah, you did this. So I don't know. That's the nature of the machine that is WWE, though.
But I mean, of course, Pete Dunne retains. It wasn't a bad showing from.
It's interesting
Gargano.
that they actually just defended the UK title against Gargano to begin with.
I think it was
weird.
It was
sort of
strange, and I wondered, because it very much mirrored how Sami Zayn ended up fighting Nakamura. So Sami came back, made his grand return, and then Regal was just like, Sami, we appreciate you so much. We think that you're one of the best NXT has to offer, so I want to put you in a match against one of the very best in the world.
Yeah, but this, like, we appreciate you so much, but you lose all the time. Here's a title shot.
And I mean, Regal, I think
a UK champion.
Regal kind of tried to push it similarly, where it's like, we really appreciate you, Johnny Gargano. We know you're really talented. And so because I know that you are talented enough to take it to this competitor, and he put out an open challenge for his championship, you're going to be facing Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
And especially because Pete Dunne had such a dominant showing on Raw when he went up against Enzo.
Yeah.
I think it was their way of trying to be like, oh, well, he can hang with someone this tough. And unfortunately, because he was losing so much, it's not like it's not like this was his first loss, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where it wasn't gonna take the shine off him. He's been losing a lot lately, so this was just yet another loss.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's this week in the WWE, the ups and downs, mostly downs, but I mean, hopefully they'll be able to recover. I mean, Paige returned to a decent amount of fanfare. I think they waited just a night too long to bring her back, but I mean, we'll see how that affects their plans in the future.
Braun Strowman
and Paige. I mean, I was glad to see that she was back, and she was definitely looking
Roman rep the Intercontinental title, so kind of ups for him.
Kind of ups for Shield.
I don't know if it really helps him.
Ups for KO and Sammy because they're working that this angle really well. I feel.
Downs for Baron Corbin because he's Baron Corbin.
Ups for Jason Jordan trying to channel that sort of Kurt Angle-ish.
Yeah, he is. He's channeling it. I don't know if it's helping him, but...
I mean, what could help him at this point?
Down to the double mirrored plots that they're trying to do with the two women's stables. I'm
like, up for these women that got to the main roster, but side because it's tainted
a bad story for them, yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see what's going on next week.
We'll see.
Excitement for the Open Intercontinental Title Challenge.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of interesting things come from that. Maybe that's how they bring up some other people from NXT. Maybe No Way Jose finally shows up.
Maybe.
I'd pop for that.
Yeah.